Looking around New York City, you can't help but ask, how did we get here? Well, the answer isn't far away. All we need to do is look to New York Harbor. This world-class harbor is a bustling, vibrant waterway that has earned its place in history. The collection of national parks along its shores provide a cultural gateway to America, commemorating who we've become as a people. Welcoming you to the harbor is the Statue of Liberty, a gift of friendship from the people of France to the people of the United States. Completed in 1886 and designated a national monument in 1924, Lady Liberty has become an internationally recognized and revered icon. Up inside the pedestal, explore the museum's full-scale replicas up close. Enjoy magnificent views of Manhattan and the harbor. Just a quick ferry ride away is Ellis Island. One estimate suggests that nearly half of all Americans can find somewhere in their family history at least one person who passed through Ellis Island. Between 1892 and 1954, over 12 million immigrants waited in the cavernous registry room for permission to enter the U.S. The American Immigrant Wall of Honor, located on the island, contains over 700,000 names from every corner of the globe. African Burial Ground National Monument, just steps away from Broadway, sheds light on one of the city's longest but least well-known chapters in its history. Rediscovered in 1991, the burial ground holds an estimated 15,000 to 20,000 people of color. For more than 100 years, acres and acres of Manhattan received the mortal remains and cultural legacy of generations of mostly enslaved Africans who could not, by law, be buried within the city limits. A memorial, exhibits, and interpretive talks ensure that the stories of these immigrants, transplanted by force, will be honored and not lost again. On this day, Ranger Doug Massenberg gives dramatic interpretive tours that are part performance art, part history lesson.
Captured, shackled, and chained, taken from their home, and brought to a strange land where they were considered property, stripped of their rights, their culture, their names, their dignity. And the National Park Service, we are truly honored of telling the true history of this country.
New York has a legendary immigrant history. Built in 1863, the apartment now occupied by the Lower Eastside Tenement Museum housed nearly 7,000 working-class immigrants over decades of use. Buildings like 97 Orchard Street became the first American home for family after immigrant family. The apartment building is the museum. Guided tours let you step back in time, revealing in detail the experiences of their lives.
This family came from Poland and they opened a garment shop here in their apartment on the Lower East Side.
In the golden age of sailing ships, New York Harbor needed to be defended from naval attack. Castle Clinton, for example, guarded the harbor against British invasion during the War of 1812. Although its military purpose is still very much in evidence, Castle Clinton also served as the centerpiece of a public park, a beer garden, an opera house, an immigration depot, and an aquarium. Designated a national monument in 1946, Castle Clinton is now a departure for visitors to the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. Once built to keep people out, Castle Clinton now welcomes millions in. Governor's Island's strategic location in New York Harbor kept it in military use for over 200 years. George Washington fortified the island in 1776. Fort Jay and Castle Williams illustrate evolving theories of military defense. Unlike other forts in the harbor that lost their military value, Governor's Island became the headquarters of the U.S. First Army in 1939 and a U.S. Coast Guard base until 1996. Today, the island's location is just as valuable not for military defense, but for public enjoyment and sweeping harbor views. The thick stone ramparts silently remind us of what is worth defending. Federal Hall occupies another prime New York location on a different island, Manhattan. Built in 1842 on Wall Street, the current Customs House sits on the site of New York's 18th Century Hall, the building used by the first Congress under the Constitution. Led by James Madison, Congress wrote the Bill of Rights while in New York. The statue, mounted to the steps of the Custom House, commemorates the spot where George Washington took the presidential oath of office. Federal Hall is a place to learn about the history of New York. Visitor Center exhibits include information on all of New York Harbor's national park sites. St. Paul's Church has centuries of history, with connections to many familiar stories. The interior has been restored to its 18th century appearance, based on the original pew plan. The public green next to the church witnessed one of the earliest struggles over religious freedom in North America. Wounded soldiers from the Battle of Pell's Point in 1776 received care within the church. Burials in the church cemetery, as many as 9,000, date from 1704 and reflect the changing face of New York. General Grant National Memorial is the largest tomb in North America. Its classical design and marble edifice shelter the remains of a tenacious Ohio general who was twice elected President of the United States. Over 1 million people, including President William McKinley, attended the dedication of Grant's tomb in 1897. Today, in a restored building that recaptures its 19th century elegance, Julia Dent Grant rests at her husband's side, beneath a soaring dome and mosaics of Civil War victories. Only one U.S. president was born in New York City. Raised in a townhouse at 28 East 20th Street, Theodore Roosevelt grew from a frail child into a larger-than-life American character. The restored rooms in the Roosevelt family house provide glimpses of the affluent lifestyle that surrounded Teddy during his first 14 years.
Theodore's mother played piano. This is a chick-wing box piano.
Exhibits and family heirlooms shed additional light on the political and social causes that influenced his tenure as governor, vice president, and president. Once you enter the New York Gateway, there is so much to see and explore. Embark on an adventure, or mix a bit of history with nature and recreation. Whichever national parks you visit, you'll discover another national treasure, and perhaps a little-known chapter in your life and the evolution of America.